What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Atlantic Files podcast. This week on episode number 207, we are talking about the Lakers and the Knicks joining in on the Ben Simmons sweepstakes. We're talking about Kyrie Irving posting some shoe pictures because why not? And then we're also talking about Ray Allen saying there's still a discussion as best shooter in the NBA's history, plus much more. So make sure you check it out, stay on in, and we'll get you guys going. Let's start it up.
The following podcast is part of the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. For advertising information or to find more great podcasts, visit us at www.theunderdogsports.com and follow us on Twitter at RealTheUnderdog.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your host, myself, Alex Fishbein. We got Mike Bash. We got Dennis Clausen. What's going on, fellas?
Well, other than that being the most awkward start to a show, everything else is good.
Nobody cares what the opening was like. They're just glad that I'm back because without me, ratings tanked. Female viewership was down. The 18 to 49-year-old demographic, non-existent. So it's good.
Are you saying we only appeal to 50 and overs?
Well, considering the only females that listen to the show are Sarah Clausen and Sarah's mom and Dennis's mom. Or I'm sorry, Dennis, your mom passed away. However many moms are in your guys' life are that's why the viewership.
Can we just move on to the topic?
He had to try and
I tried to be funny and I realized I screwed up.
I told you, leave the jokes to me there, pal.
All right, let's start off with one of Dennis's favorite topics because he's back this week. Ben Simmons. The Lakers and the Knicks are apparently rumored to be added to the sweepstakes for Ben Simmons, according to Shams Charania. I always never really know how to pronounce his name, but so right now we have the Knicks, the Lakers, the Kings, the Cavs, the Pacers, and the Timberwolves all in the sweepstakes for Ben Simmons. My question to you guys is, what even do the Lakers and Knicks, I mean, more so the Lakers, what do they even have to offer that the Sixers would take? And do you see the Lakers or Knicks even actually getting anything out of this, or do they just in this for some sort of three-team deal to get other pieces?
I could see the Knicks being in this as the Pacers in the Rockets trade with the Nets, where they're just there to, or I guess the Cavs, whoever the third team was in that deal. Or I guess there's four teams as an asset, team to take on money and not really give up anything and acquire assets that way. I could see that. I could also see them giving up pieces like Robinson and Toppin and Quickly and maybe even RJ Barrett. If it means getting Ben Simmons, I don't know if it's the right fit for the Knicks. I mean, I think he would play within Thibodeau's system pretty well, but is Philly going to trade him in the division? Are they going to get enough from the Knicks back? Or the Knicks, like if he couldn't handle the Philly media and fans, is he going to be able to? He's not going to be able to handle New York. So
that was my exact thought.
I don't know what the Knicks are really doing here. I could see them being in it either way, but who really knows?
I was kind of shocked because I thought I saw something that I got to look into. I think it looks like Ja Morant a banging Jeannie Buss.
Who?
Jay the comedian.
Oh,
she's
I didn't
like
know
banging
that.
everyone.
It looks that way.
She's like the only.
Go ahead.
She's the only owner that's not like an 88-year-old man or older. So.
Pretty much. That new movie or whatever coming out on HBO, I think it was, about the Showtime Lakers actually looks really, really good.
I don't know, Jimmy Dolan's looking pretty good on stage. Woo.
You guys ever watch
and the straight shots?
You guys ever watch the show Succession?
I have not. It's on my list though.
Jeannie Buss just reminds me of Shiv in that show. If you ever get to watch it, that's what Genie Bus reminds me of.
Okay, I'll keep that
And
in mind whenever I
speaking
watch
of
it.
the girl on Yellowstone.
That's another one that I keep hearing about that I haven't watched yet.
So, anyways, yeah. So, I think the ideal trade right now. I don't think the Knicks have enough to land Ben Simmons. I think it's been known that they were looking for a top player back for Ben Simmons, and
Right.
and the Knicks don't have anything really that's going to keep the 76ers in the playoff or the championship conversation, because unless they get somebody like Jaylen Brown, which he's been, all of a sudden now we're starting to hear rumors about Jaylen Brown and Tatum, uh, Jason Tatum's fit. So unless they get that type of player, the Knicks certainly don't have enough to make this happen. Nobody wants RJ Barrett. Nobody wants Evan Fournier. Nobody wants Kemba Walker anymore. The Knicks don't. Nobody wants Mitchell Robinson. They would probably try to get Mitchell Robinson's been on the bench. Noel's been kind of starting a little bit. So the Knicks are a mess. So nobody wants any. In order to get Ben Simmons, you're going to have to do better than that. I think the only team that would potentially be in the market would be the Kings. And I think and we still got to do research on that, because I'm the one who called
You
this
didn't
along.
say that. I said Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley. I remember saying that.
Alex, did you remember this?
Because I remembered exactly saying, I go, and I quote, they get Buddy Hield, who's a good shooter, and Marvin Bagley gives them a guy with upside to chase.
I just remember someone suggesting that, and I said that I would rather not have Marvin Bagley because he's just as injury prone as all the guys the Sixers have.
Actually, you know what I think happened is I believe we were actually both discussing it. We were both agreeing on it. And the conversation was somewhere along the lines of somebody had brought up about De'Aaron Fox being involved in the mix, in which I think all of us said that that's probably not going to happen. And the way Maxi's been playing in Philly, I don't even think that Fox would even be the type of player that they'd even be looking for right now. I do kind of think that with Rashawn Holmes being out in Sacramento lately, they've given Marvin Bagley a little bit more run, and I don't think that they're doing that because they like him. I think the bridges are burned in Sacramento. I think he's been actually playing well. He's been doing a lot better than he was, which was nothing. So I think they were trying to see a stock increase of Bagley's trade stock, because I think they're going to try to put him in a piece or in a trade to try to get a guy like Ben Simmons back. So it's going to be a really interesting week, especially with guys now finally being eligible to be traded this week. So it's going to be interesting. And I think that the Kings right now would be probably in the best situation to make a move to land Ben Simmons.
I mean, the important part is the fact that tomorrow's the day where everybody who signed extensions are allowed to be traded again, correct?
Yes.
Yes, 12-15.
Yeah. So I think the Pacers then are able to make more offers because then they can trade somebody like Brogdon. Because, I mean, there's been the rumors of them just blowing everything up now. So I think if you include Brogdon and somebody else, then the Sixers start to listen to the phone call a little bit more, especially because Brogdon would be something that would fit very well, especially alongside Embiid. But I think that Sacramento at least gives, like they have pieces that the Sixers could definitely be interested in. When it comes to the Lakers, the moment I heard that the Lakers are interested, I was just like, all right, if there's some kind of stupid deal for Westbrook, like the Sixers don't want Westbrook. Westbrook and Embiid hate each other, first off. And second of all, Sixers fans in general also hate Westbrook. So bringing Westbrook to Philly would be just like having Ben Simmons here, a guy that isn't shooting well, but he does take the shots, but the fans don't even like him.
I was if I could interject, because I don't want to forget, because I'm old and I can't remember a goddamn thing anymore. That does bring me back to, I was also going to say Indiana, for the simple reason, as you just said, that they are planning on blowing it up. If they could do something where Tobias Harris goes to Indiana and Ben Simmons goes to Indiana, in exchange they get maybe Sabonis, which, I mean, Philly's going to have to bring a lot to the table to get that kind, but I think that Philly has enough pieces to where they could make that happen, especially if you get expiring guys who are going to expiring contracts, things of that nature. I think the right now the Kings and the Pacers are definitely the two favorites to land Ben Simmons.
Oh yeah, and I mean, to be honest, if you can make any kind of deal either with the Ben Simmons deal or even apart from it, where you ship off Tobias Harris for somebody who is along the same talent line of Tobias Harris, but with a much cheaper contract. Like if you could get, like a Harrison Barnes who pretty much does the same exact thing Tobias Harris does, but on a much lower contract, I am all for that kind of deal. And if you can get, if you put Tobias Harris into a deal with the Pacers and get back somebody like Karis LeVert, TJ Warren, like any of those guys that also, again, do the same exact thing Tobias Harris does, I'd be all for that too.
I mean, I love Karis LeVert, former Net, appreciate all his years of service in Brooklyn. However, he might be on the all street clothes team.
He has been very, very street clothes. That is true.
They need a guy who's going to be healthy and can score. They don't need anybody who's going to miss more. If you're missing more games than Joel Embiid, who has been missing time lately, which is, not a surprise. But if you need a guy who's going to be healthy, the one thing that Westbrook offers that not a lot of guys in the league offer is the guy is goddamn durable. I mean, literally, he just never is hurt.
That's very true.
I can't remember when Westbrook, like, I don't think he can get hurt. I don't think he's capable of getting hurt.
The only time I remember him getting hurt is when Pat Beverly dove at his knee.
And I don't even think he missed time for that, right?
I don't know. He might have missed a game or two. Well, wasn't it in the playoffs? So he might have. I think that's when they were eliminated from the playoffs, and then he wasn't even playing anyway, and then he recovered, and then they played next season. I don't know, but I agree, especially for the type of play style that Westbrook has. It's pretty incredible that he's as durable as he is. But when that takes me to the Knicks, is just I think they have some interesting pieces. Like if they offered, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, and those kind of guys, those are at least solid young players with some potential. But at the same time, the Sixers are still looking for a compete now team, like you were saying, Dennis. So
yeah, but would it if Morey made that deal happen? For one, he doesn't want, like Mike said too, you don't want to keep him in that area. For one,
right.
Two, Morey looked like a complete bitch, even more than he does now. If he tried to play the hard ass role and held out and went through all this bullshit with Ben Simmons, mental health, having, all this crap, for him to just give up and take RJ Barrett.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree.
And Obi Toppin's been surging. He's been playing well. However, that's not the process was supposed to be. The process was supposed to be, we're building a championship contender. And if they make that move for RJ Barrett, they might as well wipe their ass with the process.
Oh, I agree. And that's why I'm saying the Knicks' only real asset to trade away to make a team still a playoff or championship contender is Julius Randle. And Randle with Tobias and Joel Embiid is even worse of a fit than Ben Simmons. So that would not happen ever.
Yeah,
Unless maybe you throw Tobias Harris in for somebody, but that's a completely different story.
Yeah, I would still try though if the Sixers. I would even contemplate getting rid of Maxey and getting De'Aaron Fox in return. And if you get Buddy Hield and if you get Harrison, I mean that's a pretty significant upgrade.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like if you throw in Maxey, then I would hope you get back something like you just said, like Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, and maybe even like a pick or like a younger player, whatever it may be. Like I would hope the return is something to that effect, because with the potential of both Simmons and Maxey, that's something that you can't really come by very often. So either way, I think the Lakers and Knicks really aren't true contenders to get Ben Simmons. I think it is just a team that's trying to pawn some assets off of other teams in like a three-way deal. Like if it was a deal with the Pacers, I could see the Lakers wanting to be in this 3-team deal to get like Miles Turner to make contracts work and stuff like that. I could definitely see them trying to get Miles Turner in some sort of three-way deal. But yeah, I don't see the Lakers or Knicks having what it takes to actually just get Ben Simmons straight up.
Hey, you know, sometimes a three-way's the way to go, you know?
True. So over on to another topic we've talked quite a bit about. I know everyone might be tired of hearing us talk about it, but Kyrie Irving. He posted some pictures or a video or whatever, wearing some basketball shoes finally. I guess hinting at returning to finally playing, and rumors about him finally stepping on the court again. I mean,
unless there's a Johnson & Johnson syringe in that sneaker and he steps on it, I don't give two shits what he's doing.
And the other thing is, I think there was some sort of like lawsuit that somebody tried to sue like the New York City. Oh god. But they
that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Who am I kidding? The minute Kyrie steps on the floor, I'm gonna start crying. I mean, like I never said a bad thing about you ever. I love you. So glad you're back. We need you.
Until the moment he takes rest days again.
You know what? That's fine. If he just makes it to the end of the season, whatever. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
True.
No, I there's been rumors floating around that Kyrie might decide to come back, and I don't know how he will come back, you know, with the whole rules and everything, but I would welcome him with open arms.
What if they traded Westbrook for Kyrie, and then we'd have the Oklahoma City? I'm just saying we'd have an Oklahoma City reunion in Brooklyn.
Well, all I can tell you is I don't know when that's going to happen, because James Harden just entered health and safety protocols according to Sleeper, so that ain't happening.
Can we just cancel the game tonight?
All right, you know what? We've talked about Kyrie Irving enough, so we can just actually transition that. The whole team of Chicago caught COVID.
I like how you put at the bottom, Kyrie put basketball shoes on. Whoa.
He only walks around.
That's what he took a picture of.
I mean, is life that boring for you that you're intrigued by that?
Oh no, it's all sarcasm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But the whole Chicago Bulls, I think it was like 9 or 10 of them are in health and safety protocols. Both 2 of their games got postponed. At one point, the Sixers only had 7 healthy players left because they were all in health and safety protocols. As Mike just said, Harden got COVID, so he's in the protocols now. And then after this weekend, like half of the NFL caught COVID. All I get are notifications every 5 minutes saying this guy's now in health and safety protocols in the NFL. Is this Omicron or whatever it's called thing? Is this what's doing it? Are people just? I don't understand what all of a sudden happened. I mean, I guess nobody got boosters yet because that's still kind of rolling out, but it just seems like everyone in the sports world is in health and safety protocols right now.
Well, you also got to remember it's November.
True.
It's
Nobody's
flu season, so they're probably calling half of these real would-be flus COVID. So,
I mean, that definitely could be part of it, especially because people now think that, like, with the whole there's no like mask mandate, so you wear it based on volunteer basis. So
yeah, I mean,
most people aren't wearing a mask.
People
I
are
liked
letting
it
their
better
guard
when
down,
Mike.
but this isn't. I'm not a doctor, and this isn't a COVID show, so I'm not gonna comment further. But people are letting their guard down, and it's flu season. People are getting sick. People like Dennis and me and you, we're not going outside as much because we can't stand the cold. And
I fucking hate the cold.
Same.
I hate the snow.
I hate everything.
So,
the moment any kind of cold weather comes, I'm just like, I'm not moving it out at all today.
Exactly. So no, it's what's happening. Hopefully we get through it, and the Nets. Maybe Giannis has to take a leave of absence till next season, and then the Nets can get their championship on an asterisk, and it'll be fine. All be even.
From COVID?
Yeah, maybe it just knocks out his breathing for like 6 months, and then he's
COVID can't handle the freak. It's not worth it. No way in hell it would even touch him.
Yeah, his brother would come out and block it.
I mean, apparently
some good jokes
Embiid is
tonight,
still
Mike.
feeling apparently Embiid is still feeling effects from it. So
is that his excuse for sucking?
Sucking?
Yeah.
Yeah, his knee has COVID.
He's had like 1, maybe 2 bad games since then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When guys get COVID, for anybody who plays in fantasy leagues, the game after a guy comes back from COVID, you have to play him in anything you could possibly play him.
So you better pick up the whole Chicago Bulls team.
That's been the secret to Dennis's success this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I am kicking ass in fantasy basketball.
Yeah, because you're a sellout. You traded your whole future for this season.
It's paying off, though. I can't help it. You guys are morons and don't know what you're doing.
We're not morons. We just didn't, we like to at least play with a little bit of self-respect.
Hey, I at least had the second highest point total, and I'm rebuilding, so.
Right.
I'm coming for you guys. Don't worry.
No,
I got a top 3 pick, and I got a big matchup this week. There's a big matchup this week in the league. If Waffle Fries loses to Tampa Bay, I could slide into the number 1 pick conversation.
You're not sliding into anything the way you look.
I could roll into the number 1 pick conversation. Then Pitt Holmgren's all mine. Oh, Chet, Mobley, Cade.
I actually
Sengun,
liked it better when
Sengun. What a future we got building.
I actually liked it better when Mike wore a mask.
Speaking of Sengun, though, since Mike really wanted to talk about Sengun.
Dude,
so
I was watching last night. I think watching his footwork makes me feel some type of way. I mean, I was watching the Rockets Hawks game last night. This dude, like, fake right, like he makes Akeem Olajuwon look like a regular guy. This guy's got the most insane footwork I've ever seen in my life. He's 19 years old. He's baby Jokic. He's got a little Tim Duncan in him, a little Kevin Garnett in him. Oh, the offensive side, not defensively. He fouls a little too much, so he's got a little cat in him. He's a mix. He's got a little cat, a little Duncan, a little Jokic, a little Garnett. You take all those together, you shake them up, you put it out, and you get Alp.
I feel like he's got a little bit of Avicii Zubats in him.
Okay.
Like a little bit.
I can see it.
Stud. He's going to be a stud.
Was that the same game against the Hawks where he had that crazy pass where he was like underneath the hoop and he kicked it all the way out to the 3-point line?
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty insane.
No, he had one where I was watching last night. I think he was going up against John Collins, and John Collins went this way, left for those who aren't watching, and the ball and LP went this way. It was insane in the post. It was a little fake shimmy. Whoop. He's nasty.
He learned from Embiid.
You don't even need to go on the hub. You just got to go on YouTube and type in LP, footwork, and you'll get the same effect.
I didn't know this was going to be a show where we talked about the hub.
Yeah, I tried typing in footwork on another site.
What, rexryan.com?
Yeah, sexy Rexy.
Yeah, but a bunch of foot soldiers.
I don't get that footwork. I've never met a guy who would admit that they're into to footwork, if you know what I mean.
There's a lot of the internet has unlocked a lot of things you would never know existed.
Yeah, but it seems popular.
I know. There's a bunch of like memes and jokes and everyone commenting about it and like relating to it, and I'm like, I can't relate, so I don't understand how it really became so popular.
They want like people to mail their socks.
All right, let's get back on topic.
We're talking about Alpen's footwork. What the hell were you thinking, you weirdo?
He's sending feet pics. Anyway.
Why? What were you thinking about, Mike?
I don't know what you were thinking about.
Talking about the Rockets, man.
Duh. Anyway, Ray Allen was asked about the discussion for best shooter of all time.
Oh, my God.
Steph Curry is about to beat the 3-point record. I think he only needs like 2 or 3 more, and it's going to happen at Madison Square Garden, of course, of all places. Matisse Thybulle made sure it didn't happen in Philly.
1 to tie, 2 to pass. So he should have that within. We only will have to talk about this after the game starts for about 43 seconds, and then we're good.
Probably. But Ray Allen says there's still a discussion. He thinks that he's still in this discussion of best shooter of all time. I mean, yes, he's one of the best shooters of all time, but the fact that Steph is about to do this in almost half the amount of games that Ray Allen did, I feel like it's not even a debate.
Steph Curry is the best shooter of all time. It's nowhere close. Ray Allen is a great shooter, but Ray Allen, I don't know. I mean, I didn't get to watch young Ray Allen. I want to say Ray Allen's more of like you got to screen him and get him open. He has to get plays created for him, where Steph Curry could be like a guy in his face, takes a little dribble, boom, 3-pointer, and he pulls up from like 40 feet, laces it as our boy Iman Shumpert would say. Not to say Ray Allen's not a great shooter, but there's no one even close to what Steph Curry is.
I mean, if you want to talk about footwork, then, I mean, when you watch Steph Curry play, and I was watching the Sixers game, I was at a holiday party on Saturday, had a lovely time, by the way. So thanks for having me. I had a great time. So anyways, I was watching the game, and Steph Curry's amazing. He stops. You think that he's not going to do anything, and then he just goes zigzagging through like 5 guys, and then he gets open somewhere and then drains it wherever the hell he's at. He's amazing.
Oh, yeah. And I think like prime Ray Allen, like younger Ray Allen when he was on the Bucks and everything, he was off the dribble, he was good like in the mid-range, and he was a good finisher and everything. But in terms of straight up shooting, Steph Curry is better off the dribble. He's better anywhere on the court. And I would say they're tied in terms of like catch and shoot. Because, I mean, Ray Allen is easily like top 2 in catch and shoot 3-pointers. and even in the clutch. So if they're tied in that, and then Steph Curry's better in everything else shooting wise, then yeah, it goes to Steph Curry.
Well, Steph Curry definitely made the game the way it is now. This is why he's better than LeBron. He's just a fantastic player. He's going to go down as one of the best players of all time. Definitely. He's on like Kobe level. That's how good he is.
I mean, I do agree he's up there with those names of greatness, because there's not that many names you can point to and say that guy changed how the game was played. Like Ray Allen, great shooter, but he didn't change the whole landscape of the NBA with his style of play.
And
Steph Curry did.
Even Ray Allen, even Reggie Miller acknowledged it. I was watching, I think it was on TNT. He was talking to Steph, and even he was like, "You're the best shooter ever." Like, Ray Allen, I'm sorry, don't make yourself look like an idiot by saying stupid crap. Okay, just be graceful about it. Be congratulatory. Say what you got to say, but don't do it at the expense of trying to put yourself over, because it's not going to work.
Exactly.
Because nobody buys it. Don't
make yourself look like Scottie Pippen right now talking about Michael Jordan.
Right. Don't make yourself look like Mark Eaton talking about Karl Malone.
Exactly.
Mark Eaton never said anything that I'm aware of. God rest his soul. I love Mark Eaton.
I mean, he was a good player.
It's like 7'8". It's huge.
Yeah, he was obnoxiously tall.
Yeah.
But to move on to one of the last topics we have here, Memphis. They've blown. I mean, they now have the NBA record in point margin, in win point margin over Oklahoma City, I believe it was. They destroyed like 3 other teams, one of them being the Sixers last night. And they're doing this all without Ja Morant. So I'm not going to sit here and ask, is this team better without Ja Morant? Because I know that answer is no. But what is exactly happening? Like, is the team just not missing? Because when I was watching the game against the Sixers, like they looked like they were making pretty much everything. But like, you look at the box score, their percentages were right around like the norm, I would say. But they're just destroying everybody. I don't understand what's going on.
I can answer that, unless you wanted to go, Mike.
No, I mean, I honestly, I couldn't answer that because I haven't watched a minute of Grizzlies basketball. But the only thing I can think of and give like...
Hey, all right? Jesus.
Yeah, why?
Like, out of breath talking about the...
No. The only thing I can think of is maybe that, they're playing more, within their offense and executing their plays better without having their game-breaking talent in Ja Morant, where you see teams where you don't rely on that star player and you more have to play together. They, in short spurts can play a crisper game and more, what the coach wants, because you're not playing with this guy who could just take it all on his own. That's the only thing I could think of, but I haven't watched. I know Jaron Jackson's having a good, run. I think Dylan Brooks has been putting up 20 points the last few games. So, I know some guys are stepping up, but I couldn't tell you why they're playing better. There's no answer for me, really.
Good old slow-mo still can't miss.
I mean, it's a good thing too. They upgraded at center by getting rid of Valanciunas and getting Steven Adams, right?
All right.
So I'll tell you what.
I was waiting for that.
I'll tell you what happened. It's called Sacramento, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Miami, Dallas, Houston, and Philly. So I mean, haven't really beaten. A lot of those teams aren't really the best.
There's like 30 teams in the league, and 25 of them, Dennis will give you they haven't beaten anyone.
Well, they haven't.
But I mean, Dallas and Miami are playoff teams.
But Miami hasn't had Jimmy Butler. Miami hasn't had Bam Adebayo. So come on.
This is true.
Okay.
Come on.
All right. And
all right, honey.
So So yeah, that's a part of the reason why. But another reason why is we were talking about the Grizzlies back over the summer, and we were talking about guys like Desmond Bain, D'Anthony Melton, Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson. They got a pretty good roster. The guys that they have aren't a crappy roster. Tillman plays well when he needs to, so it's not a bad team by any means. And they're a better crappy team than most of the crappy teams. So they're kind of like a mid-tier. They're not great. They could make the playoffs with a little run or whatever, but they're not a horrible team. Bain and Melton are just last year they were playing well, and now they're playing even better. Tyus Jones is fantastic in his role. Whenever Tyus Jones plays, gets like extra run, he always plays well. It's just when he's on the bench, he doesn't really do anything. Steven Adams is Steven Adams. I mean, he's not what he used to be, but he's good for the occasional, double. And he's not on Valanciunas level, but I mean, the Grizzlies aren't a horrible team, and it's really going to be all dependent on if Jackson could stay healthy. I mean, he missed a game a couple of games ago, and so, but yeah, I mean, when you factor in that they have a lot of good players outside of Ja Morant, not great players, but capable players, more than capable. And you're going up against a lot of teams that have been dealing with injuries or just aren't good. That's a recipe for success.
I mean, that's true. I was hoping for more of a less logical answer just for the shits and gigs, but
well, I'm sorry.
That is a very logical answer.
Thank you. Good thing I'm back. Good thing I came back.
I know.
What would we do without you?
We missed everyone being called honey.
I didn't call anybody honey once.
Yeah, honey.
I know.
Now Mike's trying to steal it.
He was trying to sprinkle it in last episode, but it just didn't fit.
Didn't work.
Wasn't
but
I had YouTube calling. They're like, Dennis, you got to get back on that show.
I highly doubt that.
They have you on speed dial?
They do.
But that was the last topic we had there prepared, unless you guys have anything else to get off your chest.
Do not. I'm good. Just hopefully the Nets can get their third star back, and Dennis can change his tune, and everything will be great.
Well, listen, honey, go enjoy your footwork videos and have a good night.
God, on that note,
we know you're into that kind of stuff. I've never seen a guy that happy about a guy's feet.
Okay, Dan.
Well, he's got good footwork. He does
got great footwork. He's like a ballerina in the post.
Have a good night.
On that note, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast on the #1 division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe, give us a rating and review on everywhere you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.